to our Tuesday's Technology Tip. We have a special guest with us today. Mr. Blake Neely is a teacher at Holly Springs Motlow Elementary. He is going to share with us how he uses Hyperdocs to organize his differentiation in his classroom.
Hi everyone. As Dr. Vincent mentioned, my name is Blake Neely and I'm excited to share with you how I use Hyperdocs to differentiate instruction in my classroom. I typically use the Hyperdocs in two different ways. The first is simply a teacher organizational tool, and the second is one that I use for my students to guide their own instruction. So let me show you what I'm fixing to talk about. On this first screen here, this is just a typical guided reading lesson plan that I would use for myself. I love Hyperdocs simply for the fact that it's so personal to the teacher as they use it. So I like to color coordinate my groups and provide information for each day in rows and columns, and provide time so I know when I'm meeting with who and what all is to be expected. And I can just easily house all of the resources that differentiated instruction seems to provide for us, and it's so difficult to locate them all in a quick amount of time as I need them in the classroom. So simply, if I was working with my green group and it's time to go over what they were doing independently, I can click on that assignment and simply pull that up so that I have easy access to what they were doing, and we can go over that information without wasting instructional time. Also, if you notice up here, we're using hard copies of text this week, but it would be easy to also link or hyperlink ebooks or online articles in this section as well so that you can access that. So that was a teacher organizational tool, but the second two examples I would like to share with you are what I call student lesson plans. So in the student lesson plan, this is something I will push out to my students, and they really can drive their instruction for the day. So we'll all meet together and have a lesson in a mini lesson, and so this day in particular was on multiplicative comparisons. So group two, they would know it's time to come to the teacher first. We'll go over specific skills that group needs, so they'll know what they're going to be working on when they come to me. And then when they leave me, they have skills linked in that is different than the other groups simply because that's what they needed for that particular day. And then there's a link that everyone in the class will do that goes along with our mini lesson. That was an example for math. And here's an example from an earlier lesson in ELA this year. And it's very similar. They know what times they are happening, what they're doing, each group is. But I just wanted to note at the end, there's something for early finishers. And through online resources such as Front Row's adaptive practice feature, the differentiated instruction doesn't have to end as soon as the teacher's lesson is over. If they are already finishing, they can continue working on their level after that has come to a conclusion. I do think it's important to note, if you are pushing out a student lesson plan to students, you will need to include a link in their Google Classroom of the document that you would like for them to be working on independently, because if you just click on the document in the Hyperdoc, what will happen is everyone will be working on the same page, and that can be chaotic if that's not the intent of the goal. I hope that you were able to hear something today that was beneficial to you, and if I can help in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out.
I would like to thank Mr. Neely for sharing with us today. Using Hyperdocs to organize differentiation is just one way that Hyperdocs can be used. For additional information, including some samples and some templates, you can visit hyperdocs.co. If you have any recommendations for technology tips that you would be willing to share or that you would like for me to address, please send those via my email. Have a great week.